Hello and welcome to CRU News. I'm Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and chief editor at CRU News. This is our exclusive interview series on the topic of Zero Moment of Truth. It is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is crunews.co.in, and our CRU News LinkedIn handle. It is my pleasure in inviting our guest for today's episode. He is Jitendra Sharma, the founder and CEO at Hairoriginals and an IITN. Jitendra has 15 plus years of diverse global work experience working in various regions like Europe, America, Africa, Middle East, Asia, and is passionate about natural hair extensions and is keen on growing this industry with a vision of taking this industry to the next level. Jitendra, it is an absolute pleasure today to have you on CRU News.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me, and Khushbu, and I look forward to this interview.
Great. Before we begin, Jitendra, I wanted to give a quick introduction about Hairoriginals. We learned that Hairoriginals was founded in 2019 and operates across across 20 cities in the country, and it basically provides hair extension and weeks. It's a platform where users can actually buy hair original extensions. It currently has two broad product categories: DIY hair extensions, which can be bought from their online store, and the permanent hair extension that requires the assistance of salon or a stylist. And what we also learned, that the company sources the hair from the southern part of India, primarily from the temples. And in terms of the manufacturing units, Hairoriginals started with Indore and has opened another manufacturing capacity in Gurgaon. And we also understand that your hair extensions have been made it to many international events, the latest being the World Hair Congress in France. And the most important highlight is that Hairoriginal was basically funded in January 2022 by Shark Tank and raised a funding of 60 lakhs. So Jitendra, congratulations to you and the entire team at Hairoriginals for being recognized at the show and to receive the funding from the industry stalwarts Anupam Mittal, Piyush Bansal, and Ashneer Grover. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. And yes, it has been a very good journey, I would say. Especially, I would say, apart from such stalwarts or the real sharks of the startup, apart from the recognition, it's also the validation of the business model, and also
Absolutely.
the validation of this very niche industry segment, which is very big, let's say, in North America and other parts of the world. But in India, it is still a very new concept. So to get that validation is even more rewarding, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And being validated by such leaders is it's a great.
What was a beautiful sight was that we were selecting the sharks at one point.
Exactly,
that was real good. Although everybody is wonderful, all the 5 people in there. But yes, we were overwhelmed to see the kind of response we got from all 5 of them.
Yeah, and we saw the episode, right? I mean, it was quite a show. It is very rare to see sharks, really putting their best foot forward to be able to invest in companies like yours. So it was a good fight, a good healthy fight to see all the sharks putting their best bet, and you finally taking the deal with Anupam, Piyush, and Ashneer. So in fact, I want to start, by putting this question to you. How was the whole experience? How was your experience on Shark Tank?
Okay, so I would say the experience was really, I would say, the best experience of my life till date, at least I can say about it. What was really good was that, that was completely, it was as you saw on the television. It was the door opens and you see for the first time these 5 people in there. And then, suddenly you have to just talk about your product and your pitch and all, and then there are, plethora of questions coming to you, all of that, and then, and questions coming from like, 5 sides. So that was a very good experience, very natural experience to have such things in there. And then obviously, while we through this journey and then experiencing that this is going to be watched by millions of people around the world, which we eventually realized post the show. I mean, not only India, we have got calls from multiple countries in there. So yes, sir, it's a very good feeling that we Hairoriginals was watched across the globe, which is a very, very satisfying feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great. So Jitendra, to understand a little further, I mean, while we saw the episode and we saw, all the 5, sharks were literally putting their best foot forward. So how did you decide that, you would want to work with Piyush, Anupam, and Ashneer, and not Vinita and Aman? I mean, I saw the episode, and you had it in your mind that we would want to work with these 3. So, how did you decide on your investors?
So first of all, it was very, very tough question. I now realize, maybe I was a bit, I would say, it all was happening like very quickly in there. I think I realized I should have asked all 5 of them to come on board. It's something I missed in the heat of the moment, or because of so many counter offers and things were coming into me. But then I just at that point, what was going into the mind was obviously, first of all, was if I have to talk with respect to number of sharks. If you are getting a 3 and a 2, simple maths, go with more.
That was correct.
Okay. Although there was, for example, Vinita was somebody, who is just same segment, same target group. That was something, which was obviously playing a confusion in the mind as well. And again, Aman is also the stalwart of branding, which is definitely one of the core thing of our. But then I would say I am a huge fan of Ashneer Grover, and he comes from IIT Delhi as well. And this is my college also. And apart from that, we eventually as Hairoriginals, our business model or vision aligns a lot with Lenskart. Eventually, for example, wearing a glass or buying a glass online and buying hair extensions online, these are very customized things. So the whole business model, eventually, that, for example, in Lenskart, there are technologies where people can see how it would look like, which is exactly what we also want to do with respect to the women can see how they are going to look like, or how their hair loss issue is going to be resolved by looking into a magic mirror, as I said, which is eventually like the AR, VR sort of thing we can do on our website. So, and Anupam Mittal comes from the bridal industry, the wedding industry, which is one of the major chunk of, I would say, the beauty industry or the hair industry also. So that is how we eventually had to decide that. So we decided to go for the 3 of them.
Wonderful.
But very tough choice. I wish I could have given an offer to all 5 of them to join me, which I missed.
I know. I mean, at that moment, to think through so much and take a decision like this, and I think still a good decision, right? So with your thought process aligned to this, it does make sense now.
Thanks.
So, Jitendra, how has your company's functioning changed after being backed by investments from these 3?
Okay, so a lot has changed. Day it was, our show came on air on January of 18. And we were the first in that episode, and actually we got a lot of airtime on that episode. So obviously, just after that, the number of calls we have received, the kind of traffic we have received on our website, and all was unprecedented. We expected that obviously there is going to be, there is going to be a lot of inquiries, but not like this. What happened in there? Our website crashed 3 times, despite our I would say our continuous effort of keep on increasing the like how maximum users, we kept on increasing those who can visit the website and the traffic and all. Despite that,
Yeah.
also there were at one point it was really, really huge. Even
Yeah.
today, I would say it's been like more than a month. There has not been any small town of India, forget about a city or a district,
Mm-hmm.
from where we did not receive any inquiry. So that
Wonderful.
gave a wonderful validation of our business idea that the market exists even in the small cities.
Correct.
Uh, what we have experienced is that our even our office, which is ideal, is we all work here. There has been
Yeah.
so many end consumers who have visited by themselves by just googling and all of that. That our office has become like I would say a temporary salon in itself. So many people wants to get their hair extension things and done. They Google us up and come. That is the reason now we are also launching our first experience center in Golf Course Road, Gurgaon. And we are
Wow.
just by so many, because so many people are making queries. We are doing the same in Bangalore, Kolkata, and very soon in Mumbai in the next 2 months.
Great. Great. I think that's a great step forward. Wonderful. So apart from the Shark Tank, right? What has been your happiest moment in your entire entrepreneur journey, Jitendra?
Okay, so I'll give something about my life journey. So
Yeah.
I I'm a chemical engineer. I worked in oil and gas for 11 years, everywhere in
Yeah.
the world, starting whether it is Congo to Yemen to Angola, Canada, this that everywhere almost around the globe,
Hmm.
Korea and things. So never did I imagine I would end up in entrepreneurship, but because
Hmm.
of this, I was so intrigued by this hair extension industry and the kind of market I saw globally. If I been working only in India and had not got that this global experience, I probably would never have understood this whole huge demand. Probably would have
Right.
never ended in this industry. But
Yeah.
what has been very and I would say very satisfying thing is when I took the decision to go full time, leaving a wonderful job at Total, which is one of the oil
Yes.
here, based in Paris, this, that, and all. And then, taking the plunge with an office in basement, starting with all alone, sitting alone. And when, now so many people call and they say, and they talk, I mean, the kind of calls we got, and they say, are you talking from Hairoriginals? We want to get a franchise of Hairoriginals. We want distributorship of Hairoriginals. When people mention this name, Hairoriginals, which
Yeah.
was just here at one point of time when I was taking the risk, and so many people called me a crazy guy. That why are you leaving such a wonderful, comfortable job
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
selling hair? So a lot of my
Yeah.
friends, in fact, I used to joke when they used to ask, "What do you do?" I said, "My bal bechta hu."
Hmm.
So that whole journey, that whole decision of taking that plunge, and now people recognizing it, that is the
Yeah.
most certain, and that happens every day.
Very true, very true. And I think it's the most satisfying thing, right? You doing something that you really like, you putting your own plans, you know the vision, you know how you want to grow the company. That's itself is the most happiest thing to be in. Awesome. Tell us something about the challenges that you faced, Jitendra. The most challenging moment in your business.
Okay, so challenges, there have been many, because again,
Mhm.
for example, if we talk about a technology-based startup, or let's say, the IT-based, or let's say a fintech and all, you have
Yeah.
some infrastructure already in there. You have people who have worked in this industry. You have people who have got experience in this industry. You've got like resources in there. You've got softwares for that, human resources.
Right.
But for an industry as niche and as new, like a human hair extension industry in India, the biggest challenge was to set up everything. It's such an unorganized market, starting from
True.
procurement to, I would say, until the end consumer. Every point
Right.
is challenging. One of the biggest challenge was setting up the manufacturing processes, because what
Right.
happens is, to set up the manufacturing, you need lot of I would say workers and all who know about how to manufacture and things, but it was very difficult to find them because there are not many. So it was basically more like a skill development program where we had to learn it ourselves at one point and had to teach people how to do that. So in Indore, one of my friend and other people, we learned it ourselves. He was rather the major, I would say, the one who learned and taught it to people and so, but then what beautiful happened even in this journey, that we realized that this is a product which is eventually a female product. A female is for the beauty, and this is a product coming from a female. I mean, because the women is making it in the temple. So then we thought that while we are struggling with this manufacturing thing, we thought why not to come up with something to the real women empowerment by actually bringing in women who are working, let's say, doing household jobs and all. We taught them this skill, and now they are more than, I think, 25 women working at least within only in our Gurgaon manufacturing, and they are doing a respectable job, learned a new skill. So that is why we have called this whole Hair Originals mission thing is as from the women, by the women, for the women.
For the women. Wonderful. So good to hear. Great. You spoke about challenges. Did COVID impact in in the last few years?
Yes. So I'll tell you, I entered full time. Taking that one big decision which I just talked about is like one of the biggest feeling I feel now. But what happened was I did that only like in around November 2019, which is like 3 months before COVID. So I just was starting up with respect to what to do, how to do, and all of that. And just then COVID happened. So obviously at that moment in the beginning, it looked like, oh my God, what a bad timing for me to go and start it full time. But then, again, I'm a very optimistic and a positive person. I keep on looking for positive aspects in life. And what actually, when I look back and realize, I felt that initially when I started it full time, my only focus market was US, because that's a $5 billion market. But because COVID happened and we were already doing only business, what we were doing at that time was in US. But then COVID happened, DHLs and all those logistics, everything were closed. So we were not able to do anything in there. Rather, we started to do negative sales. I mean, meaning we had a lot of orders, but we had to refund because we were not able to send due to COVID. But then what happened was, I mean, a blessing in disguise that just when the first wave ended up, we thought, why not? Because the world was completely, I would say, very disconnected because of COVID, a lot of logistics issues and all. So we thought, let us try to see what is in our own country, because that's the best we can do. So we were not very optimistic then. We were like, okay, let's see. But the blessing in disguise was that we identified that there is such a huge market within India only. And that is how we started our journey in India. I mean, with respect to the market in India. So I would say, yes, COVID definitely shattered, not shattered, but I would say definitely tested, challenged us. But then blessing in disguise that we got to do something which we would have probably not done otherwise had COVID not happened. So I would say both sides to the coin.
Right. Great. What does the future look like?
Okay, so if we have to talk about the future, looks very, very, I would say, optimistic, and we really want to go very aggressive into the markets, considering the kind of traction we are getting, considering the demand side we have seen, especially after Shark Tank thing and kind of responses, kind of queries we have got. That is why we aggressively are doing hirings, getting new team. I mean, more and more people in place using technology, is trying to focus on automating our manufacturing processes so that scale up becomes much more faster and easier. We have set up our eyes on annual run rate of 100 crores within next 24 months. Obviously, with a certain amount of funds and all plans we already have in place with the branding and awareness plans. That is what our targets are like, and we'll give it our best to overachieve that, if not reach that.
Awesome. Awesome. Jitendra, how do you see technology helping your business?
Okay, so technology is something, which is like, you can't imagine life without technology, to be honest, in
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
space of life now. So yes, technology does play a lot of role. For example, I can certainly talk about certain examples. Let me start with the manufacturing processes. Again, if it
Yeah.
is a labor-driven market, then to scale to, let's say, a 10x, 100x very quickly would very
Yeah.
be difficult until technology is used. Basically,
Correct.
automation. But we have
Correct.
also plans in mind. For example, like just to give you an example, for we want to go into the men's section also for
Right.
the hair loss and all balding segment. We already
Of
have the
course.
product ready, but it's just that to make that product, a huge quantum of product is a
Yeah.
challenge, because to make such product it takes around 3 days by one worker. So we want to
Right.
use robotics, use robots to make that, so that for us supply demand mismatch would not be there. So that is where the
Right.
technology comes into the picture. And then again, as I
Right.
mentioned, again, when we are talking about a D2C business, wherein the website, the digital marketing and all of those things come into the picture, and the AR VR, as I mentioned, wherein people
Correct.
can actually see how how they can look like with certain hair color or volume or
Yeah.
breadth. That is where we want to leverage technology.
Great, great, wonderful. Great interaction so far. One last question, Jitendra, before we end today's episode. Any suggestions or advice that you would like to give for upcoming business owners seeking investments?
So I'll from my side, what I can suggest, first of all, that whenever we think about any business idea or if we execute it, we should really try to break the bigger problem into smaller problems and then try to see the best solutions for them. Sometimes I have seen, and it's not only about businesses, even about when people are preparing for their entrance exams, let's say of IITs and all of that, that
Yeah.
we unnecessarily try to complicate a lot of things. I think
Right.
as there is a very beautiful thing. I think this is from the movie. I don't know, famous movie Poverty or something. It says it's so simple to be happy, but it's so difficult to be simple. I say it is
Correct.
also applied in businesses. Do
Right.
make it something very simple, very uncomplicated in your mind, and one should in their know what exactly they are doing, how they are going to solve the problem.
Right.
Problem solving is the key, and when you know how you are going to do that, I think that is where, when you stand in front of whoever, you have answers to everything. People
Right.
will question you only when they doubt that you don't have a vision. And I feel
Right.
that when people know that you have clarity in your thoughts, you know what you are doing, then obviously everybody fights to be a part of you. So that
Right.
is what I would say: be simple and just break down the problems into smaller things, and just try to convince yourself first. Would you invest in your business from an outside, as a third part, from a bullseye
Yeah.
view? That gives a lot
Yeah.
of clarity.
Great. Great, wonderful interaction with you, Jitendra. Thank you once again for joining us on CIU News and hearing your story, your journey. It's been incredible. So all the very best to you, and thank you once again for joining on the platform.
Thanks a lot, and thank you for having me.
Great.